Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you another update on the Star Citizen build here. Trying to be the Hercules, but not really the Hercules, but some elements of the Hercules kind of thing. And I gotta say, this ship has been scaring the crap out of me. It really is. I look at pictures of it and I'm like, oh my goodness, why did I pick this ship? It's insane. It's the angle and the structure of it and the smoothness and the stuff just cannot be done in Imperium. What in the heck was I thinking? I've been kind of troubled with this build, and I've tried all these different iterations, and I keep on working one thing or the next thing, and making a change here and a change there, and everything else. But I just kept at it. I kept at it. I looked at some more pictures of the Hercules, from especially the top profile, which I really didn't look at too much before, and I tried to dial this in more. So I made a number of changes to this from the last time I showed it. Was a little more advanced than those, but this one's quite a bit further along now. But I modified the wings so they're not as wide as they were before. I kind of trimmed them up a little bit. I moved the bridge back a little bit, or the cockpit area a couple blocks inward. I got rid of this little hump thing I had over here and extended this out all the way over to this section. I added this piece over here, kind of on the secondary wing area. I had this area sort of started on the last time I showed the video, but I widened up this weird tail section a little bit more and made it a little bit longer as well. Just a number of tweaks and changes all over the ship. Now, at this point in time, though, I actually, just before this video, I managed to get it airborne. So just prior to that, it was sitting on a pedestal like those are over there. And this one, I added in enough thrusters now to fly it and get rid of the pedestal. So that's kind of where I'm at with it now. So as in its thrusters and things, it is running pretty much just large thrusters. So no XLs in here. One of my big problems, I was trying to figure out how in the heck can I display this shaped thruster setup on here. It technically really needs a trim ring around here that sort of matches the shape that's here, but there's no, the thin block section and stuff is missing these pieces needed to do a 45-degree like flat block and be able to pull something like that off. So what I did is I instead inset the thrusters and kind of blacked out the area around them and used like curve blocks on the sides of the thrusters and an angle block in between to try to make that shape. Now it's not the same as what the Hercules would look like, but it's kind of, from a little distance, a little hard to tell what's going on there, and it sort of is kind of putting them kind of how they look a little bit. If you're gonna, if it gets critiqued, everything's not really matching the Hercules on here. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy with it, though. I think it's should work out now. And my fears that this was going to be a disaster build, I always have that fear, even this day. That I get so far and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. It's gonna fail. Usually when I get this far, I'll figure out a way, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do with this one, and try to figure out a way to make it work. And yeah, at this point, I'm pretty happy with it. So as in specs and stats and stuff too, it's going to be pretty workable, actually, on my scheme of how I would like it configured, at least. Just to show you, before I talk about the specs, I'll just show you, there's a lot of this ship I don't have done yet. So all this here I got to build out. The ship needs some landing gear, and I got to figure out exactly what's going on with the back of it and the bottom of it and stuff like that. So there's quite a bit more body yet to build on it, but for the most part, I'm feeling that it's I got it this far, and I don't really foresee any more problems on finishing this ship up. I'll just have to keep on doing what I've been doing and try something and see how it looks, and don't like it, try something else, and try something else. And I've been doing that. So many parts of this thing have been rebuilt multiple times from where it was. And you can tell, you can see all these different earlier iterations of it. Like this was the first one. You can see how the bridge and everything was totally different than what's going on there now. This one I started to change it to what it is now, and you can kind of see how this changed over here too, where this kind of went down at that point. Now it's this whole area got pushed back over here. The wings were wider on this one. I didn't really have much of the tail section going on, but it was coming in at it was more narrow here. So it's just a lot of that kind of trial and error, tweaking this thing to try to get it to uh, this level, and it still needs a lot more. And one of the other aspects I've been really wanting to pull off with it somehow is I've seen a lot of pictures of this thing kind of like parked on the ground, some kind of stance about like or angle, looking at it like this, and it looks really neat and cool, and you kind of stuff coming in the hanger kind of there. So I'm trying to make it feel like the Hercules that way. It might not have the same shaping, but I'm trying to pull it off one way or another, and we'll see how it works out in the end. But I think it will come out in the end. I also painted the lower section of the ship in gray rather than the more whiter tone here, and I noticed some of the paint jobs of the Hercules were done the same way. I've seen quite a few different paint jobs on the Hercules in pictures as well. This is kind of trying to sort of be the colors of one of those paint schemes, but it certainly doesn't match the body lines and things like that was going on the Hercules. But anyway, to talk about its role in the game, I believe this is going to be very similar to that of the Carrack that me and Excalibur are using in our Season 5 playthrough. We're not talking about the Star Citizen Carrack. I made a ship called the Carrack. It's an Imperial ship. It's more of a wedge ship. It's nothing to do with the Carrack in Star Citizen. But I like the idea of it because it is kind of an all-rounder. It's got the storage, it's got the production, it's got the farms, it's got the utilities, docking spaces, all that kind of stuff you'd want on your home ship, I guess you could say. But then you can upgrade it with a lot more shield potential and a lot more weaponry. So then you can get into some, at least mid-game combat situations in it. Probably not end-game or anything like that, but you can get into some decent combat situations with it. And I kind of want to do the same thing with this ship. I just thought it was kind of practical for gameplay. So I've been kind of gearing this ship to do that kind of thing, but in a little different way, where the Carrack would be dependent more on turrets. This one would be dependent more on launchers. In fact, even in this version here, I've got 8 laser cannons and 8 artillery cannons installed in here right now, which I think would be kind of a fun setup too, because those laser cannons will they do pretty good against enemy shields, especially when you got 8 of them. And then these artillery launchers will do a lot of hull damage. So you got kind of a nice little weapon load out there. Plus you've got miscellaneous turrets in various places to not really do damage to the enemy ships, but mainly to shoot away at the drones and other things that are, pestering you as you're trying to go after the capital CV or something like that. So that's kind of the idea I've got behind this, is to be an all-arounder ship. It's going to have similar to that of the Carrack, where it's going to have a hangar, it's going to have production, it'll probably have a farm in here, probably have a secure cockpit as well. That'll be a major thing that I don't want you to be necessarily flying the ship up here if you're in a combat situation, especially if it's a scary combat situation. So it'll have another like a secure bridge somewhere in the mid section of the ship, surrounded by a lot of blocks in all directions, basically. As in thrust power and performance, I used only just large thrusters on here and not extra large thrusters. A couple reasons for that. One is, I love the XL thrusters, don't get me wrong, but they're super expensive CPU-wise, and I needed to pull off certain aesthetics like this, where I had to really, to get this shape and this thruster setup, I had to run 4 reverse thrusters. If they were Excel thrusters or XL thrusters, that would be insane. They would be really big and really, really super expensive and way, way more thrust power than what would what would have been needed. So I pretty much went with all large thrusters on the ship right now, and I might have to add a couple more, but it does have 4 down thrusters. Currently, although these are kind of placeholders over here, it's not really built out. I have 6 lift thrusters. It might go to 8 though. And for forward thrust, I have 6 as well. This might also go to 8. We'll see how that works out. And then, yeah, I think that, and oh yeah, strafing thruster, it's got 3 currently, so you got 2 there, and then there's another one up over here. Even with the lift, I did slap in a couple in the front area of the ship, and the rest of them are going to be in the back of the ship. These will probably move to a further back location once I get this the block work done up in there. And then it'll have some more turrets. Right now it has 7 turrets on it. It'll probably have another 4 or 5 maybe along the bottom area back. Well, I'll have to figure that out too. But so it'll probably have, you know, at the end of the day, somewhere around 14 turrets and 8 launcher positions for its loadout, or potential loadout at least. And then also I was going to put the long range radar here, but I suddenly don't like it there, and I think I'm going to put the long range radar. I'll have to do some different block work over here, and I'll put it there instead of, it makes a little more sense. And technically, I guess you could add another turret up in this section if you wanted to as well. So, geez, did I miss anything? Oh yeah, specs. Well, even with what's going on here, oh yeah, the warp drive. The warp drive probably not going to stay here. I was just playing around with some block work here. Thought it would look kind of neat to make some engineering-looking things in the mix. And the warp drive, I'm kind of almost using as a deco piece because it kind of fit there pretty nicely and everything like that. But it would not really be a great location to put it for getting damaged and things like that. But I don't know. I'll have to figure out what's going to go happen with that as well. Okay, so specs currently has the Core 9 CPU setup in it. It's just coming a little bit over that at the moment. But considering it has, well, it's not the good warp drive. It's just a 30-year one in here. No shield in here at the time. It's not blowing it by a huge number, considering I got 8 artillery launchers and 8 laser cannons installed, and a couple big advanced generators in here as well. So CPU wise, it's a little more manageable because I'm not running the XL thrusters. Oh, yeah, speeds though are, yeah. So we're currently, all these numbers are going to severely slow down, which is really scary. I kind of wanted to keep them at least the numbers they are if the ship was totally done. So I might need more thrusters or things in the mix to try to make things work good. And again, it's hard to estimate exactly how much heavier the ship's going to get with its base. You know, once I finish up all the block work and build in the interior and put in some more parts and stuff that weigh it quite a bit. So it's not going to be super fast. It's all right now, but I'll keep on trying to tweak this. I just kind of want to show you where it's at right now. And I guess all these specs here are kind of irrelevant because everything's going to change yet. But I don't know. Just curious what you think of it at its current stage. I'm actually pretty happy about it. I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to be a usable player ship in the end, and sort of at least take on the look of some Star Citizen ships in one way or the other. And it's for a challenge to build a Star Citizen ship, so that's what I'm trying to do. I picked one that I probably shouldn't have picked because it's kind of undoable, but anyway, I'm pretty happy that I did now. I like the challenge. I like to figure things out, but I tell you, the other day I was just banging my head against the wall with this thing. I'm like, and I was getting kind of really grumpy about it, and it's like, yeah, this isn't going to work out very good and all, and blah, 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 and all being pessimistic. And then I made some of these little body mod changes, and then all of a sudden I was like, ooh, I like that a lot better. Ooh, I like that a lot better. And then suddenly I look at it as a whole, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm kind of on board with this now. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I just wanted to get a quick video out and tell you about the ship and show you what I've got so far. And yeah, always love to hear your inputs and comments on it. And I think that's all I got for today. So you guys have yourself a great night, and I'll talk to you later.